All right, everybody. This is about transition. We really are firm believers in scoring in transition or early offense, and we're going to go into this a little bit. Put the little dot there. Now, normally, we're a team that likes to cross in transition, have the trailers pinned down, real simple stuff. It works quite often, where then this guy could come down and pass it to a side, making reads. And that has been, quite effective. So what I'd like to do now is give some other options. This is stuff we used to run when I was coaching in high school, back in the good old days. But especially when we are in early transition, when the guys are way ahead of the ball, we're going to cross. But let's say the ball's here, so we're not really that far ahead of the ball. Depending on what side he goes to, let's say this would be the strong side. The weak side would flare into a corner. What I'd like to do is, this guy, instead of crossing, will kind of button hook back into here. And then we'll throw the ball ahead. And once we throw the ball ahead, we're now looking for some kind of dribble handoff. Real simple stuff where we're just going to dribble right off of that, just get a dribble handoff. So this guy's going to come early where normally he would cross. Now we're going to kind of hook back into it. We're going to throw it to the hook and then, set him up and come right off for a handoff. Okay, so that's option one. And again, we're not going to run this every time. We're just going to make reads. Okay, but now let's say this trailer, this fast break guy went into the corner. His trailer came down to here. Here's the ball here, and then we have a trailer coming. Whatever the case may be. Okay, so this is the guard, let's say, that kind of came down to one side, and we have a trailer coming middle. We throw the ball here. He comes off, gets the handoff, can't get to the rim, so he kind of dribbles out. This middleman would then set a flare screen for him, looking for the kickback flare three, maintaining that spacing. Okay, that's what the middleman would do. As he's coming down, we want to make sure that the guy couldn't get to the rim, so he kind of peels out. The screener now pops. Now, after he sets the fade screen, he's going to then set the on-ball screen. So it would look like this. And these are options. We might call this different things, chase, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what we used to call it. But now we have this here. And this is the guy who set the screen here. Now the dribble handoff guy's here, and then this guy's setting the on-ball screen. So then he's coming off. I've got a kick option there. He's going to roll. I've got a kick option if I get deeper into here, and I could just pull up that mid-range. Okay, so again, this is something that we find quite effective, and there's a lot of options off of it that we can utilize, and that's going to help us in many different ways. So again, guy runs, curls back, point guard kicks it to him. He's coming off for the handoff. Option one, get to the rim. He can't. He kind of pulls out. This guy who's trailing down the middle then sets that screen here for the fade. Okay, these guys are over here. They can exchange. They can do whatever they want. We'll talk about them later. And then after he sets that screen for the fade, he goes and sets the screen for the on ball, and then we've got some action there. Okay, so that would be something we might call chase. Okay, so we would call that we've called it a bunch of different things, but we call it chase because you could chase. You're kind of chasing the ball. So chase. Okay. Now we'll show you something else that will run, off of the same kind of set. Okay, this is something that we used to call keep. Gosh darn it. Got to get back into shape here. We call this keep. Same kind of system. Delayed transition or 5-on-0. This guy comes in, he hooks, he passes it up. Okay, now I'm really big on the DHOs, dribble handoff. I like that a lot, and that's what a lot of this is about. So now we've got this dribble handoff action here. We call this keep, right? So you fake the dribble handoff, and then he would flare into the corner, and then this guy coming down would just set the on ball. and then you're going to come off of that. So the guy who caught it before he handed it off, now he's going to fake that handoff. He's going to keep it, and he's going to come off, and you have the same kind of options available. Okay, so again, this would just be a version we would call keep. Okay, then we would call this one we would call this like a dribble action. Let's see if my pen works here. Dribble. Might have to get batteries. But same thing, guy curls. Now this guy's coming down. Here's the trailer. Boom, boom. So normally he would throw the ball here and then come off of that. Let's say that guy's not open or he doesn't throw it. Then he could simply come off of this on ball, like we call it a drag, where he's coming off. If he doesn't get it and he comes off of this, he can fade into the corner. He's coming off. That guy can roll. He can lift as he comes to the basket. Again, he's got options here. So these are all kind of different options off of the same action, off of that same pass. So this is one where you keep the ball and then don't even really pass the ball to the guy curling. This one we would call like a trailer. Hit the trailer. So again, hook guy comes, guard, trailer, guy ran in the corner, guy here. So now, let's say you're coming down and instead of keeping the dribble action, you just throw it to the trailer. Okay, so once you pass the ball to the trailer, then you could come off of that for some kind of dribble action, some dribble handoff stuff. Or what we like to do is after you throw that, he's now going to set a back screen. So he's coming off looking for that as option one. If he doesn't get it, he pops into that corner, keeping the spacing. Okay, so once he throws it there, this guy sets the back screen. This guy's coming off. Then if he doesn't get it, he can just set an on ball from there. And then he comes off. So again, kind of showing the different action you have on that. And there's a lot of different reads you can make. And that's something I firmly believe in, is not running anything that's a set and kind of doing a lot of action. So this guy comes here. Dribble guy comes here. Trailer. He throws it to the trailer. Now he's going to set a back screen, which I love. You're looking for that immediate hit. He doesn't get it. He pops. After he sets the back, he's coming on the ball here. Okay. Or he could come off a dribble handoff. So he sets that. So this guy doesn't get the hook. So he sets the back screen, and then he could come off, and this guy could dribble at him and get a handoff and go that way. And I love dribble handoffs, and I probably prefer that than just a simple pick and roll, because the guy with the ball is probably a big, but if you're one of those teams like us that doesn't have a lot of bigs, then you can really take advantage of that, that maybe the other team does, and you can use some action off the ball. So instead of coming off of this, this guy's coming here, throw it there, set him up like you're coming for a handoff, set the back screen, boom, come off. After that, he pops. Now this guy's got the ball. He can then dribble here and then hand it off to that guy curling, and I'm going to have a couple guys here to make a read. After you hand it off, he can either pop or he can roll to the ball, and this guy's going to be obviously in that other corner. So, and we would call that one trailer, where instead of throwing the ball up to the hook, or instead of keeping it, you throw it to the trailer right away. And then there's other reads you can make off of that as well when you throw it off to the trailer. Okay, another thing we like to run, we just called it at, where again, this guy's coming, he curls. So now the guard throws it to him. Okay, and then let's say he comes off of that, doesn't get it, keep the ball, don't like we did in the action keep. And then this is the 5-man trailer. Now you would dribble right at him and then hand it off, and he's going downhill. And this is, again, if you have a 5-man that, we used to have a 5 guy that was really more of a 3. So you can really kind of utilize that when you're dribbling at him, and then you've got a big either trailing with guarding him, or a big might be stuck over here for whatever reason. So instead of kind of catching it there and waiting for any kind of, you just dribble right at him, and it's going to be another dribble handoff. So a lot of dribble handoff stuff, and I'll get into that later. But these are offensive transition drills. Not drills, but sets that we like to run. We obviously want to cross right away if we're ahead of the ball. If we're not ahead of the ball, this would be another option that we could use. That, okay, we're really not ahead of the ball, so crossing doesn't really work. And instead of just dragging that screen, this guy might come down and see he's not going to get there. He'll fade. Now this guy's going to come and he's going to curl. Okay, so now you've got trailers, and this is the ball. You're looking to hit that guy, and then we've got a lot of action off of that. If you don't have that initial handoff there, okay, if you do hand it off and he peels off into this area, okay, that's when we set the back screen fade here. Then we set the on ball, and he's coming off, and now I've got action here. Okay, I've got a lot of, you could, with these two guys, they can stay stationary. I like to maybe exchange, where this guy's coming off that screen looking to hit and roll. Now, pick and roll, hit and roll, we call the same thing. The weak side guys, they're going to have a role in this too, because if this guy curls, let's say, and then this guy comes here, passes it to him, comes off, doesn't get it, fades into the corner. This is your trailer who's now setting that fade. Okay, this guy who set that, who had the dribble handoff, is now fading off into here. If this guy comes off and he's kicking it here, once he kicks it to the top, let's say if he came off that pick and roll, these two guys are here. When that pass is being made, he could set a pin down, set him up, and come off looking for that little elbow pocket jumper. Then, you can do that. There's a lot of different action you can have. You can kind of come this way, and then as you're coming up, you could curl that hard. This guy could then come off of that, and we can set another dribble handoff here. There's a lot of different things you can do, looking at different, options. So we're trying to just get more ball movement, but we like to sit that, once the pass is made here, if he doesn't get that shot, that's when we set that screen and we move quickly. This guy could roll. This guy could pop. And then we just get more action. And we have spacing because we have shooter here. We have a driver who kicked it from here. We have another guy in the corner that probably lifted up. The key is to have that spacing and that option. This might be confusing to some, but it really isn't. And it's not like we're running this every time down the floor. This is kind of a transition. And again, you could run either side. This guy curls. This guy's coming down the left side now, so that would be the strong side. Throw it ahead. And as he curls here, you're looking to just, after that, come right off of that for that layup. Trailer here. Guy ran there. Guy down in the corner. Keep spacing. Okay. If he doesn't get it and he wants to keep it, we've talked about that. There's a lot of things he can do off that keep. Okay, this guy could then come and set that screen. He could dribble at him for a dribble handoff. Usually, there's a lot of different things you can do, but usually when someone's dribbling at you, it's going to be more of a dribble handoff, and then you could roll after the handoff. And we have action here where you could exchange, you could pin down, and he could look to set him up and cut back door. Just a lot of things you can do. So what we'll probably call this, I don't know, curl. I'll yell out cross or curl. And then there's so many different reads. It doesn't matter if the defense knows you're curling or not, because there's so many options you can have. You're coming down, the curl's not open, you could throw it there, use that back screen. These are all things I've already talked about. You could throw it there, and then fake that like you're coming off that and do a dribble handoff. There's just a ton of things you can do. You could throw it there, and this guy's got the hook, he didn't get it, you could screen for the hook. And the hook guy comes around and you do that. If they switch, you always slip everything. So if they're going to switch the screens, you slip it. Just a lot of options and a lot of different reads that you can make in transition. Okay, and the key is you're not crossing, you're hooking. And then this guard is throwing it to you, and you catch it, and then you're coming right off of that. You can hand it off, you don't hand it off, you keep it. You could turn the corner if you felt like they switched on you. Okay, this guy's coming down as a trailer. He could set the on ball. You could dribble at him for a handoff. If he sets the on ball, you come off. He rolls. This guy popped. Now you got options here where you're coming off hard. You got kicks. You got all kinds of things you can do. But it just gives us options early in the offensive set. So whether it be, the initial hook, or you keep it, or you dribble at them, we hit the trailer right away. There's a lot of different things we can do, and I just want to make sure that we're aware of all those options, because I like to score before the defense can get set. If they switch, you could roll the post and get a mismatch, or you can, isolate a big on the wing. That's easy. That's normal basketball one-on-one stuff. But again, I'm looking to really create something off of these curls where the guy fakes the crossing and just pops out, and then the pass can be made from here. And then again, it's a bunch of reads. If this guy's overplaying, just turn on him, score. Okay, fake that handoff, whether you fake it or you keep it. If you keep it, you hand it off, you couldn't get it, he flares off. Set the fade, set the on ball, come off. I've got a shooter, I got shooters all over. You're coming off hard, you kick it there, he doesn't get the shot, you pin down. Set him up, come off looking for that little mid-range elbow jumper. And then you just keep the thing moving. After this, it's just, basic motion offense. Just constantly moving, but getting the spacing going. And I want to utilize more dribble handoffs, more transition screening. And when I ran this in high school, it was extremely effective. And we scored a ton of points. Okay, and this is nothing new. A lot of teams run this, but I think it's imperative that we kind of get used to mixing it up a little bit, and we're gonna go over that again this season. So again, we'll call this transition offense and transition offense 2 maybe, or alternate, and we'll go from there. All right, good job everybody.